What's up, everybody? It's me. Truce. Ooh, that was a good one. That was actually a good snap. But True Star Screamer. And it is Thursday. It is 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and you know what that means. It is time for the Figure Action Podcast. That's right. You've got myself joined by two of the best people on the internet today. Junkie on Crafts and Builds, and my own personal Mr. Spock finding everything fascinating, T-Man 978, because I swear Spock shows more emotions than that man does sometimes, unless he's talking about Bumblebee. We've got with us, of course, our favorite peoples in the chats. We've got Toy Mafia giving us giving us remembrances for those who have passed. Hail to the Titan, the man who what?
I said morbid wishes.
It's not morbid wishes, it's memories here, man. We got the Titan who's in every gosh darn podcast I ever freaking walk it and wander into. So hail to you, sir. Venom Bite with the best, my favorite avatars out there. Toy Mafia speaks almost 70% in emojis. It's an important thing.
He's always there, though.
And McClurchig, always good to see you. And for all of you guys on the Replay Squad, we appreciate you guys ever so much because you're taking that time to listen to us in the car, to listen to us at home, and we appreciate you. And of course, everyone in the actor chat, as I love to say, all your chats are super chats because we need members. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Feel free to share because Figure Action is on the air. I should use that one. So anyway, gentlemen, how are you? You know I got to hit the button.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got.
Because I got to come up with a better one of those anyway. I was going to say, Mike, how you doing? But T-Man, you look like you've got something you really want to show off. So we'll start off with you tonight.
I ain't got jack. Because I think I showed these in their individual forms last week. But here he is. He's big. He's Omega. He's Prime. And I ain't buying nothing. But I am doing great. Things changed up at work, and they seem to be hopeful or better than they used to be. So I'm liking that. And this week went by quickly, which I don't know if is a good thing because time did slow down a little bit, but now it's getting back up fast again, and I don't like that too much. Paisano T-Man got the Not Roadblock 2. Oh, I have this in my possession, and I have a review up, but this is Junkie on Crafts and Builds, and I'm going to be giving it back to him. You want to know how I feel about it? Watch my video after this video.
Yes.
Or when you get sick of hearing it, then go watch that.
Yeah. No one can get tired of hearing that voice of yours, man. It's just soothing. It's chill. It's toy AMSR. ASMR. AMS. I don't know. BDSM, whatever. So Paisano is going to watch your review very, very soon.
Thank you.
And he's hoping that work is better for you. Is it better or not better? Or is it just in a state of flux?
It's less, as far less stressful.
Okay, that's a good thing. Absolutely. And Mike, let's stretch out some of your vocal cords if you got some fun stuff to show us out.
Sure. Yeah, Holland's kind of taking over right here, right now, but doing all right otherwise. I've been taking so much stuff right now, I don't even know what day of the week it is, except it's Thursday, because we're here, thankfully. Yeah, and I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. What's that?
I said Matt probably still thinks it's Tuesday.
But doing well. Took a little bit of time off from work today. Yes. I do have some biblical adventures. In fact, I could probably grab one real quick and show you. But I also have BBTS processed one of my pre-orders from them, so that's waiting in a box of loot to bring back. But anyway, what do we have here this week? That's the real question. Different things. First off, ToyCon New Jersey was really cool for my first time, and they'll be back in September. So maybe I'll drag T across state lines, and he can hop along with me for that. But some of the pickups I did get from there, besides some of the Full Horseman stuff, um, was this guy for a very reasonable, slightly over retail price. So I'm still on the lookout for Sagat, but this guy is really cool. Um, and I also got in my deluxe Phalong. I just don't know where I put him. But anyway, that's the player 2 one with the nunchucks. That's pretty cool too.
Did Blanca have the
the-
electric effect? I can't remember.
This Blanca, yes, he does come with two soft electric effects. Alternate head, alternate hands. He is very he has a lot of good articulation, but he can't completely go into a ball. So he can't
You got to
completely
get
do his
creative.
special move. Yeah, a little bit of angles and dangles when you take your photos, and it'll look good. Other things that look good this week. 16 boxes of okay. Biblical stuff. That's cool, man. Anything to help support Chris. Things I did pick up this week, good and bad, was I found Rom. He's actually really decent. I think this is the last one of that wave I actually care enough about. Banshee's cool for the head. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, Jada, I can't speak highly enough about Jada. I know some of the people that have spoken about him, their sculpts are a little soft, but I think it's a great balance between function and looks because I mean they look great.
Don't
Uh,
speak bad of it.
Steel Brigades came in from Valis. I picked up 2 more. No gold head, so I just have the one. So but that's okay. Uh, things on discount that I found was the Legacy Deadpool. Finally
Oh,
found
nice.
him, and a really good a good figure. Um, so what's not a good figure that I found at Ollie's was this guy, because well, real easy. Dummy
Don't do
joints,
that.
but you know,
Gummy joints bending
the
here
head
and there and everywhere.
the head sculpt is pretty good. I mean, that's all I can say. So anyhow, more junk, more junk. Not junk though. I, as you guys know, I went to AwesomeCon, and one group I've been speaking with a lot is a trio of guys called Shadow Moses 112. They recently had a sale because went they got a milestone on their Instagram for followers. They had 25. So they had a 25% off 1 day sale. And my
Nice.
stuff came in, and I have 2 of the 3 things I bought for photography because I thought they were really cool. One is a old fashioned paint machine from the arcade,
Oh,
which is
God, I
really nice.
hear it.
I love it. Love it. And what I also picked up from them, because you guys know I did show the pickup from AwesomeCon was a 6-player X-Men arcade. So I also picked up an Area 51 arcade because I remember playing this a lot.
Oh, God,
And it's
yes.
really cool. It's really cool because I also got, I don't know if I can show this here. Let me see if I can. Where's my camera? It lights up. And it's not the greatest showing here, but the screen, the
Nice.
top lights up. It has LEDs, all USB powered. And it comes with not only the title piece, but it also comes with a separate screen showing some of the arcade. So it's really neat.
Reload. Reload.
Yeah, so it's a very cool thing, and like the guns are translucent FDM, set for 112, and then you can take the string. It's not glued in, so you can manipulate it onto your figure well enough, and then just stick the it's like a semi. I don't know. It's kind of like an elastic, but really cool stuff. Check out their website, shadowmoses112.com. Follow them on Instagram, and they also have a YouTube show that they talk about all sorts of pop culture stuff on Sundays. And hopefully, I'm looking at the end of next month to actually be on their show and just talk toys because news is
Nice.
sometimes scarce or scary, and we're going to talk about 3D printing and all sorts of fun stuff. Anyway, long story short, last two things. ToyCon pickup after meeting Henlock 112, who does a lot of promotional photography for Mezco. I was able to purchase a Duck Nocturnal from him for a very reasonable price, not completely aftermarket. But I also got in today his cohort in Prime, so I got a Ribbit.
He
But
showed
it
up a
just came
lot.
in.
That
That
frog shipped quickly.
Yeah, to everyone else, but they're in New York, we're down here in Maryland, and it took it was thankfully, we're so close and they use FedEx, it was overnight, but for the price of shipping that it should have gotten here overnight.
Nice.
Nothing I bought from them recently came from New York anymore.
Oh, that's right. Tangerine came from the West Coast for you, right?
Yes, and she was
Okay.
several months late.
That's what I was
Yeah,
saying. I was
I
thinking about
remember
the
that.
tangerine versus the frog.
Yeah, the frog was relatively quick. 'Cause, I mean, he was up on when was that sale? Like
2 weeks
mid-April.
ago. Two
2
episodes
weeks
ago.
ago. Okay. Excuse me. Um, Last thing was I spoke to Alan from Eternity of Dreams, ran into him. He recently had a new addition to his family, and we were just talking toys for a little bit. He's very successful in regards to he has two toy stores here, one in Maryland and the other in Pennsylvania. And we were talking Mythics, and I got this for a very good price. So this is Azahazar from the Poxus Wave. He's a brute scale. Really cool. So um, other than that, I'm trying out these things for some of my customizing stuff. These are from AK Interactive, and these are called Play Markers. This is the Flesh Tones set, obviously, because sometimes I get bored at work. So, shaka. But these are actual markers, obviously, because they call play markers. But they have like a paintbrush tip. So I was doodling around with where did I put it? A spare head that I got from Eternity of Dreams. I picked it up. So
So you
I
can make
was
random things Caucasian.
say again.
You can make random things Caucasian.
You can do light skin, dark skin, black skin, zombie skin, and animal green skin. So I was dabbling with that and some of their actual real colors, which is more like a Sharpie type paint pen. And I was doodling around with this. So this was
Oh,
completely gray, gray resin, and it applies really, really well. I did a little bit of two tone with the skull using the zombie skin and I think the dark skin, and it's pretty neat. I
I
thought
need a
they're
link. I need a link for that.
Yeah, I had to get them from eBay because the actual company, AK Interactive, is in Spain, and you can
Oh,
order from them, but you're going to pay like $30 in shipping. So
nah.
I can send you some links from eBay you can buy them either in the packs for like I think this was like $18, or you can buy the individual markers for like $3 a piece. So I got some more coming in tomorrow with different things.
Definitely need
But
that.
it would definitely work for that. It would work wonders. You could sit there and dabble around with her, and then just put like a matte coat on it because this all dries matte finish. Anyway,
Cool.
so customizing, cheap stuff, good stuff, convention stuff, all sorts of stuff. So
And
what stuff do you have, Dave?
Jack, got nothing. I have not honestly picked up anything the last last week or so.
Yeah.
Nothing has shown
Um,
up in my area. If you saw my on YouTube, I did like a little short the other day. I went by my Target, and you know what I saw? A freaking Cobra bat. That's what they put on the shelf. Not a Crimson bat, not a Python Patrol bat, a black bat figure.
Not the Arctic. I don't think have I seen that in stores?
Not
Was
the
the Arctic
Arctic,
not in stores?
not the Grenadier. There was just an old bat figure. I mean, there is nothing on the shelves here.
So you need to drive out of state.
well, I say if
You need to drive out of state when you go to toy hunting.
I have been working every day since last Thursday.
So I say our local stuff is pretty dry as well. At least when I look around, other than the latest wave of McFarlane stuff. That
I seem newer than the regular bat.
So unless you're into wrestling,
that's true. Wrestling figures have been taking a big jump, and that is while I like to watch wrestling occasionally and I follow on the news. I don't think I mean, with the exception of maybe 3 figures, I don't need any of that stuff in my collection. Dominic Mysterio would be kind of cool. Penta, because I'm a huge fan of Penta is, and that's
who's that guy you keep talking about? Danhausen?
Oh, Danhausen. Yes, Danhausen. Well,
he's going to be up here. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. What's your thought?
Well, I was gonna say the big thing about Danhausen is he's a collector. Like he actually, and again, he does toy reviews in his wrestling character, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, he's going to be up here in Maryland at the Toy Expo next month.
That's awesome.
But
yeah, and that's the thing. It's not just toys that are scarce; it's toy news that's scarce, and that's because I think everyone is scared of, frankly, pulling triggers. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Not just the things being rare, but also the direction of us as collectors and hobbyists, what we're going to be doing and what we can do and what we'll be doing to get our fix. Because it doesn't matter if toys stop showing and we stop spending money, okay, but we're still going to want to do something because we like to do stuff. That is what we do. So start things off with a little bit of news. Sharing screens. Transformers, it's all pretty much down to one word and one word only. Blockies, blockies, blockies. Which
I was guessing, but I was about to say that.
Yeah.
So we've got the new Action Edition Soundwave, which I will say the one of the toy stores near me just got a display, so I might pick up 1 or 2 just to see what the hubbub is all about. But this is their Action Edition.
I was saying they're neat little model kits. Some of them.
Yeah.
See, I think you got a block of them. Like they have some of them have like little LED things to show off the light.
Right. Well, no, I know they've got different. I know they've got different scales. Like they got like the little $8 figures. They got the $18 figures and such. This one is probably one of the higher end ones I would have to say. I'm assuming because it's got all these extra moving parts to it. So.
Wonder it must be taller.
Oh yeah.
The classic class is the same size as the basic ones, but they have lights. Like that RC you got me. Or you picked up for me. That one has.
Well, this is the Action Edition, and one thing though, he has a laser beak, which it looks like it may transform.
Oh, if it's better than the one I picked, the Soundwave I picked up that had the Ravage, which basically was two pieces that you sandwiched together and it didn't move at all. So it
Well, this
definitely
one,
looks a little bit better.
I'm guessing that that's probably the posable one, and he has a separate tape. Because I was looking at that earlier.
Yeah, there it is on the top.
but
The weird thing is it has the Cybertronian head on Laserbeak.
yes, but I think that's still. But this is the non-transforming transformer scene. Is definitely expanding. You know, we got 3-0. You've got YOLO Park. Now you've got these. Every one of these, I think, is a different price point, but I think each one's maximizing their price point to their strengths, which I think is pretty.
And they also have Aldi's Super 7.
Well, the fact that at least with Blockies, it's the availability was so broad right now. I mean, Paisano's going to Walmart, but I mean, I found they were selling the waves there of some of the smaller ones. A lot of the e-retailers now are starting to get them in stock, like Nerdzoic. So I mean, there's definitely an interest, and the fact of it is, they're strong. They're strong. Strong. They're well-made pieces of plastic that articulate really well. For
Well, this
what
is
they
speaking
are.
of the
So it's
Aldi's.
really a cool thing.
Yeah. Well, here's our Aldi's. We got Alita 1, which I think is probably, in some ways, I think the best representation I've ever seen of this character, to be frank.
Yeah, geez. Speaking of posability, their posability is nuts. But they seem to only be in China or wherever. You got to jump through hoops to get these. The fact that they have like such good drop down hips, they don't have to have crotch skirts is crazy.
So you're saying those
I'm not
specific
a fan
figures
of
are only in
Bumblebee's
the Asian
face
market?
Yeah, I don't think these are allowed to be sold here. It seems like.
And it's going to prove to be more difficult to get as well, unfortunately. But I'm not a fan of this Bumblebee face sculpt right now. I want to say that right. It looks like he had an accident.
Yeah, I wish you could zoom in a little bit more. Does he? Is it like just the sternness of the face? Is that what turns you off, or I'm trying to see a little closer?
Well, usually when I see it's also how broad the lower face is. Like the lips are high, but it looks like he's got like this distended chin, which is very, I don't know. Bumblebee always seems more like almost like childlike, and this is just kind of like a grumpy guy.
Again, I mean, if they're trying to base it off the tune, then that kind of goes across the whole gambit of styles and sizes.
He looks
but
more
I see what
Gear.
you're
That
saying
looks like
there.
the face I would see on Gears versus Bumblebee. How does that, if that makes sense?
Okay, makes sense.
Sometimes they are good at getting that tune face, and then sometimes they're not. The best tune face they ever made was that the little core class Bumblebee. That was the best tune face they made.
But yeah, Shrapnel here though, this looks amazing. He almost
is that a
he looks like he
2-pack?
can transform.
Is that supposed to be a 2-pack with Ravage?
It does not say because they have it on this picture, but not on the not.
Because that's odd if they would make them. Why would they put those two together? But I do agree the style of Shrapnel right now looks really cool. I mean, that's definitely. Oh, and it looks like is that an articulation joint at the waist?
It looks like there's some kind of ab crunch. I mean, I would probably say, looking at these, it's Perceptor, Alita, Shrapnel, and Bumblebee. If I was gonna the way I like them, if that makes sense.
It probably has, because you look at Bumblebee in one of those pictures, he has some really sassy hips. So it has a ton of articulation in the hips.
He definitely has an ab crunch right here because there's the hinge right there.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I mean, that's a good thing because I mean, a lot of the stuff they had in their earlier waves was basically you plugged it in, you got a swivel. That's about it. So,
and then we've got Blocky's Galaxy, which is the small. This is the little $8 version. The Wave 7 is up, and just my internet's taking forever to actually go through. And this is just more Transformer 1 stuff. So you got you got Megatron complete, Shockwave, Soundwave, Starscream, Orion Pax, you know, regular Megatron before he gets his cog. So for me, easy pass, but I think that's kind of cool that they're making them. And
the Wave 7 is more of the movie.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is
All
I
right.
like this because you can cherry pick this stuff.
And it's good that they're actually,
kind of because they're blind spots.
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
And they are
that's
teasing
right.
their Constructicons, which looks like it's going to be just I guess vehicles that you then put together to be into Devastator.
Yeah, the actual combiner parts are being sold separately as some type of kit, I think. I have a couple of the vehicles already. I have Hook and Bone Crusher.
But you saw these in New York, right?
Yeah. They didn't have the Devastator.
Okay.
They're trying to act like it didn't exist.
But we know it exists.
Yeah.
Hello, Destro.
That's, as I said, pretty much Transformer news is next to nothing on here.
I say, did you guys talk about Red Alert last week?
Yes. Yeah, the 3-0 Red Alert. Yeah.
Okay.
Which again looks cool. I mean, again, that Lambo body looks good. And if you want a really little prime, here we go. Dr. Wu does have their transparent, teeny tiny prime. So this way, when you drop him in the carpet, he's even harder to find. Those scare me. Miss anything good in the chats right now? I'm sorry, I've been kind of on there. Alties in the mix. Good afternoon. What is up, Destro? Good to see you. I love your. I always loved that Cobra Decepticon emblem. It's a shame that series was absolute garbage. That particular series, the other of the Transformer G.I. Joe crossovers, that is. Here in North Carolina, we are having what's called IshCon, which I was supposed to go, but work decided otherwise. Not that I'm bitter, but they did announce their exclusive, which is freaking amazing. And that is this white Praetorian. And I love that he's basically a deluxe version by giving him the 2 arm blades.
Yes. Now, this is actually going to be first available this weekend up at Shop the Curiosities show up in Danbury, Connecticut. But yeah, the white Praetorian is, some people are kind of like, oh, it's another repaint. I love the contrast here showing the white and black. I think that's always something that's going to pop in your collection. And the addition of the second blade weapon versus 2 assault rifles makes sense. The other cool thing about this is they are
the
doing
variant.
Yeah, it was good and not good because again, the variant itself is a clear translucent plastic version. There's only going to be 100 made. So, and it's another blind box, kind of like we've gotten with Steel Brigades, Pandoras. So, while it's cool, I think there's a little bit of fatigue within the community for
absolutely.
like, oh, am I going to buy a bunch of stuff just to try to find one variant? Yeah, blind boxes. We'll talk about more later, I'm sure.
Fight Club bought how many freaking like a case of bone collectors and didn't get a single bloody one.
Yeah, I can tell you, I have maybe like 6 of these.
Yeah, I mean, and personally, I can just because of my collector, and I do like army building and such. When these, because I'm unfortunately not going to make it to the convention. When these eventually show up on the website, I will easily be picking up 3. And if I get a clear, cool. If I don't, I can easily 3 are going to look good. I've got 1 green one, so that means I have my squad leader, and then I've got the rest for my squads. And again, like you said, I love that this one gets the double blade, so it gives it a very, very elite feel to it. like almost like this is the Storm Shadow edition. So,
damn it! You took my thing. I was waiting to say.
What's that?
It's like the three of them. They could be just Storm Shadow's bodyguards.
that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, this is the cool thing about. I'm sorry, I hate tribalism. I despise tribalism. So yes, you could absolutely put two of these flanking your Storm Shadow in your G.I. Joe collection, and they will work. So,
Or your First Monkey Fiction and the Forgotten King, who's dressed in white as well. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, you got the thing is again, it's options.
I guess you could do the Fresh Monkey thing, you know.
None of these that I
one,
bought that I ever think like, oh, I want to have in my Action Force collection. I always wanted them to be just for my G.I. Joe.
and that's fine. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's your collection. You put them in however you want and such. And you know, it's the thing of it is, it's a good exclusive because you don't need to have it if you don't want it or you can't.
And
Get it.
Vala has been good about getting these exclusives out. I will absolutely commend him for that. Like I've got 2 Steel Brigades coming into me, hopefully on Saturday. So,
and I can share a quick little story anecdote for their customer service. I know there's been a bit of a thing where like, oh, customer service stinks, and it's not just the Valverse stuff. I mean, they say the same thing about Four Horsemen about shipping stuff out. But my last order from them was having I picked up some more of the Crimson Infantry because I thought the deck was really cool. And one of mine came in without any magazines. So
what's he gonna do in the bathroom?
He has his phone. He just looks up Facebook stuff. But email customer service, work through a couple things, and with the 2 that I got in this week, I had four new magazines and a new assault weapon for the Crimson Image for my infantry guy. So again, Mark Weber is their brand manager and customer service rep. He does a lot of really awesome stuff. So wanted to give them a shout out. Customer service is good. It's a small company, just like Four Horsemen. Sometimes it takes them a little bit of time to get responses, but I've never had a request left unanswered. So anyway, that's my shilling moment.
Did everybody click like?
What's that?
Did everybody click like?
There you go. So
just curious about something really quick. Valaverse. I just noticed the gun that they chose.
I forgot
he had 2 different guns. The Praetorian originally had 2 different guns.
Yes, one they had that one there, and another one I think had an underbarrel.
Right, but I just remember one of them was harder for him to hold.
This one is a pain in the ass to get in.
Yeah, so I was surprised of the gun that they gave him was as you said, the pain in the ass one.
Yeah.
After, like I said, guys, like this is we're definitely pulling news this week, and it's kind of like pulling teeth. This is coming. This is next we got here is the Loose Collectible series. They are continuing their Youngblood line, and they're using they apparently are 2.0 body. I guess this figure here, my cabinet that I have here, this is the 2.0 body. So also has me a little worried about how Grendel here is going to turn out because he's using the 1.1, their older style. He is continuing the line with that was Rob Liefeld there. This is actually, I think this is Captain Canuck. This isn't even
yep.
So, which is a character even I don't know much about. But they are continuing with more Youngblood characters. So we have Die Hard here, who is totally not a Captain America
Oh no,
ripoff.
he's kind of like a Vision / Iron Man / I don't
If
know who
I
else, but
recall, they actually, I think he was contractually told he could not have him throw the shield.
I never saw him draw that type of action with him. So, but it is cool that he's got the little adapter in the back too, that you can put either the sheath, and I hope there's an adapter so you could put the shield on his back because it would look really cool.
Well, there's a
So,
whole. Yeah, it's interesting because when you sideways here, you see the peg.
mhm. Right, and
So
that's for the dual
the
sword
swords,
sheath.
the shield might have a peg on there, depending on how the handle is on it.
Yeah.
So, but
So
we've got Die Hard, and we've got Shaft,
yeah,
and I
Shaft looks,
do like this hand with the 3 arrows.
and that's a common way Rob drew Shaft, because what they had in the, I guess you want to call them the combat profiles, is his bow never had a string, and what it had
Mm-mm.
was a
It was like a gravity
modified,
well.
exactly. So that's why he could shoot things so quickly, and he could shoot multiple arrows out of it because all he had to do was just increase the gravity well
I
space.
just want to point out, I tried reading Youngblood back in the day, but between the combination of an issue almost never
And we just
in the books,
froze.
the covers
Oh,
were
there.
great, but nothing
Mhm.
ever really happened. I couldn't tell you a villain from that. I just, yeah, it was always, here's the roster. Oh, we're changing the roster. We still haven't fought anybody yet. And it's now 3 years later, and we're just getting to issue 6. Because unfortunately, Rob
Ye-
Liefeld was notorious for never actually putting books out.
Yeah, the other series of Youngblood, which was the international team, was written much better, um, in relation to like the Bible Rob was putting together with
I
their
mean, actually,
figures.
Bloodstrike wasn't too bad. I enjoyed that one. And then
Yeah,
that was the companion to Brigade because the guy who was in charge of Brigade was Cabot's brother. God, why do I remember this stuff?
Nerd.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. And then the Blood Wolf was kind of like that one shot issue or something.
Yeah,
So
that's what I said. That
it's
Blood
weird.
Wolf figure was that's hi. Let's make Lobo because we can.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, the characters suck, but I will say again, this figure is very well done. If you watched my review, my biggest complaint about it is the scale is just it's its own scale. That's the easiest way of putting it.
He's not like 7. Isn't he like 7 something? 7 inches?
He doesn't look good with a mythic. He's bigger than a mythic legion,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't look good next to a NECA either. It's weird. It's like but he looks
Exactly.
good. He looks good though. That's the interesting thing though. Like again, I don't regret having this in my collection. It's just he's unto himself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
You
it's
know what would be real? No, it would be helpful if a lot of characters use bows that didn't have strings, and then when they make the toys, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
What did you say? Your audio cut out.
If more characters use bows without strings, it would be better for toys.
Well, yes, agreed. But I
or they're just done well. I mean, if you're talking about Hawkeye, yeah, that bow that was used for him in Yondu is just not great.
yeah.
Legion's ones, I mean, they actually had that elastic. It's not too bad. So it's just, again, their problem is you can't get them accurately into a shooting pose,
And
so to speak.
the DC figures had a string one for their Green Arrow as well.
Yeah, the
Actually, I have that
Connor, or not Connor. Is it Connor?
I'm talking
Connor
about
Green Arrow?
before McFarlane, the DC Essentials, I think
Oh,
it
DC
was.
Classics.
Kind of, not the
Uh,
Mattel, but when they had that one line that was like, it was almost a 6-inch. They were just a little short. Like I've got the Harley Quinn was like probably the best figure of that line, but they had a
hmm.
decent Green Arrow. And of course, speaking of mythics, I'm just going to Big Bad Toy Store because they still are showing them in stock. They did a big drop today. They did a big drop today. A lot of classic figures. I spent some good money today. Some neat ones like the Zenthir. Mike, say it for
Zylernian.
me.
Zylernian.
Yes, the Zylernian Guard.
Zylernian Guard.
I picked up 2 of those. I actually already had Dubon, which is pretty cool. And then they had some of these Masters of the Universe ones, homages in there. Romulus is a great figure. I do already have him. And I might want to pick one of those up. I
BJ's
might
pretty
want to pick
good.
one of those.
He has enough parts that you could create a whole other figure, like a half orc. So
And then that's the yellow version of the green guy you have, right?
that's one of 2 of the smaller demons that as a Hazar was split into.
Oh,
Azar
okay.
and Zazar. So and Zazar is the more rare glue one. So
Gotcha.
but yeah, this was I think it was a good clear warehouse event for him. Not without drama, of course. So
You picked up
one of the
you picked up
things
the Slog figure, didn't you?
I did pick up Slug. $80. Still a little pricey, but I mean retail was like 100 and
Yeah.
something, and he was the heaviest legion until Bovar the bear comes out. But yeah, there was a good mix of. I mean, it's a little heavy cosmic. Like I said, without drama, it wouldn't be Mythic Legions. And one of the things they were putting up for sale was a blind box for their Armory Knights. So for a quick deal TLDR of that was Legion's Con this past year, they had a new experience you could go through and basically pick out your parts and create your own kind of agnostic knight. They had a variety of colors. Everyone came with a variety of weapons and a little like gold tchotchke toy that you could have with them. Then they did the 10 prefabricated knights, I think right before Baethir kickstarted.
Mm-hmm.
So now that and I think one of the versions of those, the gunmetal, sold out pretty quickly. And then they had the all-in options, which was like 300 and some dollars, but you got all 12 variety of them. So Wednesday, when Jeremy Gerard was announcing all this, he announced the blind box version, which allowed you to get 3 complete sets. Who knew what color you were going to get, as well as the limbs and torso from their barbarian set, which they had on their website for like $10. Well, everyone's super excited for that. And it
A little
sold.
quick.
They sold out in 2 minutes. It went up
And
at
it
11 o'clock.
was limited to 1 per person. You could
No. There were no limits on the blind boxes. The only ones that were a limit of 1 per person was the ATL 25 and the
oh,
Zolocon exclusive headhunter, and that's for the first
oh,
24
sorry.
hours. Nope. But the problem is, Jeremy and M said there was a limited number, and it sold out. So of course the drama was, well, why were there no limits put in place to those? To the point where Jeremy Gerard had to make a separate comment on their official Facebook group, the Cabal, that even though they didn't put limits, there was a small number, and the largest order that was put in place, someone ordered five of them, which would have been the limit they had anyhow if they had set them. So the fact that they sold out, they sold out. And again, it was all about kind of clearing out a lot of their older figures. So still was a really, really good option. There's still a lot of figures available now that are really good. Especially with did you guys talk about the Crossroads last week? The Crossroad
The which?
figures that are the Legion Con exclusive for 25?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. 'Cause we
Okay.
were
All right.
surprised
So
because we thought they did it. So, oh man, I thought I got one of those boxes. I just was looking at my receipt here. I thought I got one of those, and it looks like it got knocked out of my cart.
yeah, I'm not surprised.
Boom, 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 boom.
So
Well,
one of them on there was Lady Averona, which she has this really cool alternate, or she had this face paint,
I
which
did get Lady Alvarona.
she's a really cool figure, and definitely the way her eyes and that are painted, it's going to match up with the Legion's Fun exclusive head that comes with the Warrior and Revenant
Yeah, we
figure.
were very, very surprised with those Legion cons. I'm gonna pull them up again because they actually just were that good. It's still worth talking about. I think it's actually an absolute Legions Con exclusive 2025.
Which you did get your tickets, right? Or
I
you put
got
in
my
time for
tickets.
that?
I've got my hotel room. I just don't know how I'm going to get up there yet.
Okay.
So I can share screen on here. We talked about this before, but we're going to talk about it again because it actually is so nice. We'll talk about it twice. When I first saw the pictures of this, I thought it was multiple figures, and it's just there's so much gear that you can just make. I mean, I thought this was one figure. I thought that was a separate figure.
Oh, one figure, male and female. They in the past it had split up their exclusives for one per day. Like last year they did the 2-pack of Garwich and Gaspar, which was the
Mm-hmm.
tribute figure, and then the next day they did the creator creature and action, whatever it was, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But this year they're releasing these two figures both days. You could get both for you could there are two versions. I'm assuming you talked about that. One is going to be like a Legion's Con, which is going to have the exclusive extra heads and parts. And then there's a standalone version that's going to be a little cheaper that won't have those extra pieces. But you still will be able to make either the warrior that you show here or the relevant that guy, death guy. So
Well, I know for a fact, like I said, I need this one specifically if I can get more than one of them because he's got enough parts that even though he won't be blue, I can make my War Duke.
well
I can
I'll
combine his
say
parts with a barbarian.
hmm? Well you won't there's not going to be a limit. So if
Oh,
you
I
want to
know.
buy
I'm just
five, you
saying.
can go buy five.
I'm just saying. I know what I want, and I know and I know why
Mhm.
I want it.
Yeah.
It's just these
Uh,
are absolutely perfect and kind of show exactly what makes mythics. I mean,
mhm. And again, Trevor Williams's photos, makes it an easy sell. So, um, but yeah,
I'm
those are
surprised they
those
haven't
are
used these fairy wings more. To be honest.
agreed. I think the only figure I remember seeing him with was the princess. I
Hmm.
forget her name, Silverhorn, something like that, or silver something.
So, but because here's and again, that's pretty much our crazy news to the point that we're having to rehash stuff. Because right now, guys, I want to say it, the toy industry is kind of in a flux right now. We've got
Hmm.
stores that are not wanting to ship to the U.S. anymore. That would be like Robot Kingdom. That would be like the CMD store. The CMD is,
Hmm.
which of
Yep,
course is
CMD store.
which of course is like them not shipping is all the YouTubers are panicking right now because they can't get their first hands on that. Uh, but
Ducks.
that's but it's a big deal. Um, I think one of the I think the way our hobby is going to be going in some directions is a lot more people are going to be rediscovering older lines and older figures. You know, we've instead of the waiting to catch the newest figure on this one. And T, feel free to drop your 2 cents in on this one. Um, like older Transformer lines, like Armada, like Cybertron, maybe even Beast Wars and Car Robots. You know, the whole retro collecting is going to be picking up again. You know, if you've been hoarding figures for a long time, now might be a good time to either put it back on display or might be the time to start unloading to these collectors we're seeking. And I think people like you, Mike, makers are going to be the next big thing of building your STL files. I mean, I'm going to say your PLA prices are probably going to shoot up through the roof.
Well, they
But
are.
it's
They
still going to
already are.
cost.
So
But it's still going to cost less than getting a figure.
yeah, I mean, because I think we saw in the news starting tomorrow, the pre-orders for Hasbro products are going to go up again. Um, I think they were showing Black Series is now going to be $32 a figure, and like
Good.
the vintage line is moving up to like mid. I think it's like $24 to $27, and that's the problem. I mean, we're seeing the price hikes, but if it's figures you've already bought multiple times, or they're just repainting, and maybe this time, if the print on the face is different. I mean, people aren't going to jump at it. We see it now specifically. I mean, there was a lot of photos going around, and I think you and I can both agree, looking at our various Targets and Walmarts, that some of the Accolade figures, there's entire boxes just sitting there of like the Wookiee guy, and then like the IG-88 with a Grogu sitting there. I mean, they're just no one's picking them up because they want like 30 some bucks for it, and it's not going to happen. The thing with Transformers, that they've been doing a lot of reissues of figures they already have out. I think I saw like 4 or 5 jazzes that they did, what, 2 to 4 waves ago.
The annoying thing is they were trying to go up on the price before the tariff thing. And it's like some of that stuff isn't worth it. I can't even imagine paying $20 for the 17 they were already charging on vintage was nuts. I can't imagine paying over 20.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and right now, they had the reissues of the War for Cybertron Bumblebee. I mean, how many times have they put that figure out? And then the Gears they reissued again, right? Because I've been seeing those sit everywhere. So it's something interesting, and like you're saying, there's companies that have waves. Fresh Monkey Fiction they put out because of tariffs. They're pretty much done with their second wave of figures, but they're not going to ship them over until the tariff situation is figured out. So there's entire product that people are wanting to grab, and they're going to have to wait. Whether it's today, tomorrow, 3 months from now. And a lot
That
of
or it's
people
only
have
going to be
been.
shipped to Canada. It's going to be shipped to Canada. It's going to be shipped to Mexico. It'll be shipped everywhere but here.
Yeah, yes. I mean, those that are near the border, those border states, will you take the drive to go across the border and come back? And if you get stopped, you have to declare what you picked up. So are you still going to pay the extra, the import tariff because you went across the border yourself? It's an interesting time to say the least. And
Well,
again,
first of all,
right now there's no winners. There's no winners in
no,
this,
there's
and whether
not.
it's toys or household products, because I mean, there's stuff that's imported every day that we were
I
used to
didn't
getting,
want to
the
open
commodities.
up that horror story right now.
Yeah, agreed. So I mean, it's keeping it in line with what we're talking about here with toys. I agree with you. There's going to be a lot of creativity being brought up, but also if you're not going to get your new stuff, are those retro lines going to come back around? In
Well,
regards to like you're saying, going out to toy shows, flea markets, trying to find people that are selling old stuff. I don't know.
basically, gotta catch what you didn't have. If you're late to, first of all, I gotta say this: you're missing out. That was actually a very good. I mean, it was. There were some parts of the Cybertron thing was painful, but it was. That was some good Transformers back in the early 2000s. That's all I can say. Armada fun.
Great.
Energon, nah, not so much. Cybertron,
Combined.
hell yeah. Third one, best one. Got to say hi to Figure Fight Club. Please check out his show tomorrow. He's going to have D Amazing on. That'll be and Ish from IshCon. So we were talking about the Praetorian earlier. That's going to be the exclusive. Check that out. D Amazing. He actually showed up on the Tuesday night show. He said he might be recording a video of doing a photo tutorial that he's going to be doing at IshCon. I'm going to be all over that. So, to Prince and Phalanx. Yeah, just exactly. $24.99 for vintage. That's the big thing. It's time for us. And hey, you like what you like. That's all I'm going to say. Getting back into comics. That's a big thing right now. Digitals. I'm going to say this. In the next year, there is going to be a huge push towards digital media. Video games specifically are going to be a lot more direct digital download because they could send a data pack over the internet. It's technically not a solid good. And then, of course, you're downloading that from your Xbox Game Pass or your PlayStation.
And those prices are going up too.
Ironically, you know what the big thing is? Memory. Buy yourself a memory chip while you can, guys. I think I need to expand the memory of my PlayStation.
Aren't they trying to put tariffs on like anything if it's anywhere related to China?
The movie one I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that one. Oh well.
Listen. Physical media does win. You are absolutely right. And again, that's going to be the retro. Retro is going to be the big thing of finding. There's so many movies, there's so many programs that have been lost because of streaming services not getting the rights. You're absolutely right with that. I think physical should be preserved. But because of talking about the new stuff, a new video game, instead of sending discs over from overseas, pressing discs that will then be tariffed at 100% of cost. I'm not saying of product, of retail, but of cost. A digital download has no physical cost. Or they just
what it does have is continual income brought in because people are going to be downloading and re-downloading it versus a one-time cost for a physical piece of media. The downside again for that is that they can take that away from you at any moment. I can't tell you how many times I was trying to finish a game on Xbox Game Pass and they stopped selling that or they stopped supporting that game. So yeah,
that's what happened with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 many a year ago on PlayStation. That's one of the big, but game like Baldur's Gate, which is supposed to be critically acclaimed, does not have a physical media. This new remaster of Oblivion, which I totally want to play because Oblivion is better than Skyrim. Why is my internet? Sorry, my internet's cutting in and out. I apologize.
But I think that's another thing too. We're going to see if this extends on, and I don't know how well it's going to come across because it's going to sound petty and hypocritical because I buy things multiple. But are we just going to start getting repaints and reissues of the things that are already made because it's a faster turnaround, support some sort of continual income?
Not necessarily, because the repaints are exactly that. You can only get so many of a certain thing, but that's why I'm saying. And once people realize that the new stuff isn't satisfying. That's why I'm saying people might be delving back into the old stuff because they get the thrill of the hunt. They get the thrill of acquiring something that's rare to find. Um, I've got a, like I said, I think the flea markets and such for collectors, it's going to be open season for some of us. People like, we make the joke of that guy of Kevin Womack who's got a basement full of stuff. Dude, that thing's about to skyrocket like Bitcoin was 10 years ago.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, like, Shop the Curiosity is well known for being a really retro themed event where they tell most vendors don't bring anything modern, minus Mythic Legions and Valorverse, because that actually brings people into the show. But we'll see the same thing, I think, at Maryland Toy Expo here next month. There's a lot of vendors that are going to be bringing old Transformers, I mean, old Joes, I mean, things like that. And we might start seeing people altering their habits, or they're not going to buy anything at all, or they're just going to get out of it and
That's a
just
big thing
wait it
too.
out too. Because
Hey, I'm
when
50 years,
this
I'm pushing 50. Why do I need to be carrying all these toys anyway? It's causing me nothing but stress. Make a house payment.
there you go. I mean, that's a reality as well. Maybe it is something like, all right, well, maybe instead of continuing buying new stuff, I'll actually sit back and enjoy the things I have, and maybe try new ways of doing things. Maybe customizing and kibashing some stuff is an option. If you have multiple things, maybe some people are gonna be like, nope, I'm not gonna. I only have two steel brigades. I'm not gonna
Fine.
make. I'm not gonna mess up because it's gonna take a year and a half to get anything new. I don't know, but
I'm gonna say this
yeah.
though. In some ways, it's not a bad thing. This is gonna sound weird, but I mean, like I've got a backlog. I go out, I buy something. I actually don't want to
Mhm.
open the box because I want to review the thing. But then but before I get to the stuff I want to review, I go and get more stuff. And then something else gets pushed to the head of the line, and I'm not really enjoying the stuff because again, I'm trying to review it because I want to review it. But
Mhm.
then I'm like, should I just open this figure? But if I open it now, then it's not going to look like pristine for the review, and I get caught in a flux. But now we might get a
Yeah.
time to just slow the fuck down, enjoy what we have. I would love to see a resurgence of photography of using older figures, or people, as you said, altering things. People 3D printing enhancement packs to just
Mhm.
enjoy what we have.
It's been
Yeah.
my
No,
Yeah.
no.
plan to review my older stuff, but now I just haven't been doing a bunch of videos, period. But in the meantime,
Oh no, but
in a minute, that's gonna be my only option.
Yeah. And then shit, I just had a thought. Damn. What the hell was I gonna say?
Here comes
Well,
the
I mean, you're talking about being creative and stuff, and trying to find new ways, or going back to old things. Last time we had that type of situation, lockdown. It's scary to
yes and
say,
no
but
because product was still coming in during lockdown.
yes, it's just access to it. I mean, we already remember the
Yeah.
horror stories of people running the Target and harassing people to find something for Cobra
Oh
Island
God,
and
Cobra
whatnot.
Island. Cobra Island.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be we're interesting things right now, but hopefully, fingers crossed, things will go and we will save Christmas or the fall at least, because there are still companies that are bringing the product in. Uh,
my Merry Christmas.
so right
Isn't
now,
it
we just had to hold out hope that competent minds will prevail and
And then
things
one day
will.
we're just gonna get a shipment of all our pre-orders showing up at once, and we're have to explain. God damn it, hun! I swear it's just been one pre-order.
Yeah, but the problem is going to be when that stuff comes in, and then the next wave of stuff, are the prices going to come down?
Oh, that's
Oh no,
economic.
no, no! You've already opened
That's
Have
Pandora's box that
uh,
time.
Hasbro never goes down.
That's a discussion for another time on that, gentlemen. That one, that's a different can of worms.
I'm saying Hasbro, but everything.
Oh,
They're
no,
always like, "Oh, we got to go up because of the price of petroleum," and then they take the plastic out and make the stuff worse and raise the price.
Yep.
So,
but yeah, we'll see.
You know, and Winston, I gotta say this: the 51. I'm just saying. I wasn't saying striking out people hitting 50 to stop collecting. I'm just saying some people might be like, you know what, I'm done, and I was just using an arbitrary age number. That's all.
Yeah, I was just shared. Somebody shared a long post with somebody coming to a realization that they have a tub full of toys and maybe why are they collecting this? And that's when they got to the how many toys they had. Like they look in their tub. That's when I started laughing. One tub. That's amateur hour.
Yeah.
We got to build up them rookie. We got to build up them rookie numbers.
Like if they're going crazy off of one tub, wait if they see our collection.
But
and that's another thing too. You know, you're going to start seeing an influx in the aftermarket for things like, you know, I'm selling stuff on eBay again, clearing out some product, and I'm surprised what's selling and what isn't. I mean, I have a Fans Toys figure up there, and it's gotten bupkis. You know, it's kind of shocking. But then I put up a starting lineup backer board, and it was up for like 5 minutes, and then someone picked it up. So yeah, it's going to be.
The starting lineup 6-inch figures have raised in price.
Oh, they have.
Yeah.
So.
Except and what is his name? The very guy that's always in Ollie's.
Yeah, the guy from Philadelphia. Yeah.
That's sports, guys. That's Greek to me. But again, I want to say this. Not much news. I think we should call it. That's a good note to end on. Any of you guys want to do any kind of shout outs or anything that we want to promo? I know T, you're going to have your Omega Prime video out.
I got the main review. I was supposed to film transformations, but my motivation has been in the toilet. About you can watch my review on this guy if you haven't already. The ATL 25. Artillery team leader. That's what it is.
Yep.
Mike, anything you'd like to promote?
Hey, I'm almost done with that Maximum Spider-Man. I've been playing around with him since getting him in, and
having fun with
now
him.
I'm trying to. He has some good points, to say the least.
Good.
Some of the stuff, like I know I'm so far behind on things. I'm not looking at them as regards to like a typical review. I'm thinking I'm just going to do more like how does it make me feel type of stuff, the touchy feely things, good and bad. I don't know, but also paring down. And Mariano must have been reading my mind because it's time to start looking to pare some things down and focus on what you like instead of just grabbing. I don't know. So,
well, again, I'm trying to catch up on reviews. I've just been, like I said, I've been working a ton this last week. I worked freaking 10 days, almost 10 days in a row. So that's why my stuff's been on the lean side. I am going to go live on my channel 9:00 Sunday, mostly because I know the guys from Hella Dope aren't doing anything. So I know that means 9:00 Sunday time, there's an empty slot, and I'm going to freaking try to get some views on that. I'm going to capitalize. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. Am I going to be crafting on camera? Who knows? Am I just going to be ranting and raving about the direction of the collection? I don't know. Will I just grab a 6-pack of beer and drink it all in front of you and have you guys laugh at me? Please do. But so if you haven't checked out my channel, again, 9:00 I'll be doing something. Maybe I'll drag somebody on there just as a good foil for that. So, but for everyone who joined us this evening, I want to say thank you, and thank you. Everybody who hit us on The replay squad, thank you even more. We hope to see you guys next week. And as always, no, that's not going to happen. That's the pay-per-view, folks. I don't give them goods up for free, folks.
That's why you need to get monetized. That's what you're working on, so you can start doing those.
Exactly. I'm gonna be like that comedian with the machine. I'll just take off my shirt and anyway, as always, until next time, take care, everybody. Peace.
Later, everyone.
Peace.